This story is about resilience, self-discovery, and the power of standing up for yourself. It's a tale that will make you angry, cry, and ultimately cheer for the heroine. By the end, you'll be sharing it with everyone you know. I've been married to my husband, Daniel, for 14 years. We have 2 children, a 13-year-old daughter, Sophia, and a 12-year-old son, Ethan. For years, I was treated like a servant in my own home. Daniel made a lot of money, and my salary was significantly less, so he constantly reminded me that I had no say in anything. "Your place is by the door, ready to serve," he'd say. The hardest part was that my children started treating me the same way. They mimicked their father's behavior, and my mother-in-law, Margaret, was no better. She'd criticize everything I did, from how I cooked to how I raised the kids. I felt invisible, unappreciated, and trapped. Then, one day, I got a phone call that changed everything. A woman named Maria introduced herself and said, "I've been your husband's mistress for almost a year. I'm sorry, but I thought you should know." I had suspected something like this for a while, but I always pushed those thoughts away. I was too afraid to face the truth. But now, it was staring me in the face. I went to a cafe, ordered a coffee, and sat there, thinking, why was I staying with a man who didn't respect me? Why was I tolerating this life? I cried, but then I made a decision. I was done. The apartment was my parents had bought it for me before I got married. I packed all of Daniel's belongings and left them in the hallway. When he came home late that night, drunk and stumbling, he tripped over the suitcases. He started yelling at me, calling me names, and demanding to know what was going on. I turned on the light and said, "You don't live here anymore." The kids woke up from the commotion and immediately took their father's side. "Why are you doing this to Dad?" Sophia screamed. "Ethan accused me of being the reason their father had a mistress." It broke my heart to hear those words, but I stood my ground. "If you don't want to live with me, you can go with him," I told them. Daniel grabbed his suitcases and left, telling the kids to stay with me until he got settled. The next day, Margaret showed up, screaming and demanding I take him back. I kicked her out, but she stood outside, hurling insults at me. I didn't care anymore. This decision shocked everyone, including me. For the first time in years, I felt a spark of confidence. I realized I had buried myself in the role of a servant, forgetting who I was. At work, my newfound confidence didn't go unnoticed. I started taking on more responsibilities, working late, and even enrolled in evening classes to improve my skills. My boss saw my potential and promoted me to lead a new department. My salary doubled, and for the first time, I felt financially independent. When Daniel found out about my promotion, he was furious. He threatened to take the kids and sue me for alimony. But his own life was falling apart. His company was laying off older employees, and he was struggling to keep his job. Meanwhile, the kids continued to ignore me at home. It hurt, but I decided to give them time and focus on myself. I bought a Cara dream I'd had for years and started rebuilding my life. One day, Ethan asked me to drive him to soccer practice. When he got out of the car, he turned to me and gave me a thumbs up. It was a small gesture, but it meant the world to me. Things came to a head when Sophia tried to move in with Daniel. He slammed the door in her face, saying, "I have a new life now. There's no room for kids from my past." She came home in tears, and Ethan wanted to confront his father, but I stopped him. 11 months after the divorce, the court ruled that the kids would stay with me. They were overjoyed, and for the first time, I saw them truly appreciate me. Daniel, on the other hand, realized we were thriving without him. He tried to reconcile, but I refused. I had built a new life, and I wasn't going back. Margaret even came to apologize. She handed me the deed to her house, saying she'd rewritten her will to leave it to me and the kids. She'd found out Daniel had planned to put her in a nursing home, and she wanted to make sure we were taken care of. As for Daniel, he remarried several times, but each marriage ended in divorce. He couldn't stop treating his wives the way he'd treated me. I haven't met anyone new, and honestly, I'm not in a rush. I've built a life I'm proud of, and I've found peace in my independence. This story is a reminder that no matter how dark things get, you have the power to change your life. I went from being a shadow in my own home to a confident, independent woman. If this story inspired you, leave a comment and share it with someone who needs a reminder that they deserve better. Because sometimes, all it takes is one brave decision to change everything. How? What would you do in this situation? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. Let's remind each other that we're stronger than we think.